If I'm scheduled to work from 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. at night, and out of that time, I had 8 consecutive hours off, but I was still on the clock getting paid, how many hours did I actually work? Alright, so quick update. I just dropped the passengers off back at the Kiss and Ride location in Maryland, and yeah, so this is pretty much the end of the whole trip. Now, I went ahead when I dropped the passengers off at the ski trip in Pennsylvania. It was a designated place for me to park. Well, it was a place that they said I needed to park at. The staff members there asked me to park at. So before I did that, I went ahead and got breakfast. Come to find out, they gave me free breakfast. I mean, because I told them that I was a bus driver and that is there any way I can have the food to go, because they had it more so a buffet style. And next thing, the lady was like, "Oh, it's okay, you're good." And I had to make sure, when she said you're good, does it mean I'm good that I can eat and have this to go and still pay, or have it to go and not pay? So when I asked again, she said, "Oh no, you're fine, you're good." Meaning I don't have to pay. Like, I'm take the to-go box to go, and they even offered me some more food, like another to-go box, and I was just so I literally didn't have to come out of pocket for breakfast. I didn't have to come out of pocket for food. Literally, I packed so much on the plate to where it lasted the whole day, pretty much. Oh man, yeah. Overall, I'll give you context. By the time I got breakfast, I dropped the passengers off to the ski trip about 8:45-ish. Got breakfast. By the time I got breakfast, went ahead and parked the bus. It was around 9:30 a.m. Now, on my trip paper, it says I didn't have to pick them up they wasn't leaving until 8 p.m. Coming to find out, they left. They said they were ready around 5:30 p.m. So from 9:30, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 8 hours. 8 hours of pretty much off duty, technically by being on the clock, but literally I had no responsibility for the passengers because I dropped them off for the ski trip. And honestly, I needed that time to relax. So I went ahead and once I had my breakfast, I went to sleep. I went ahead and also done some administrative work, a little bit of research, and relaxed. And yeah, it was just me on the bus. And like those 8 hours of free time while getting compensated on the clock. And it's just an amazing feeling to be able to drive, because I love driving. But then not only that, but to help people, because people need transportation. The group, they needed help having someone that is qualified to operate and drive a vehicle, take them to where they go, and then drop them back off. Simple. And the overall process was just so easy. When I dropped the passengers, it seemed like they were taking their time a little bit, so I had to encourage them in terms of saying, "All right, we are here. Make sure you have everything, your belongings with you." And I had to reiterate that because there has been times, especially when I first started out, whereas I didn't know these little hidden gems or hidden nuggets of letting the passengers know, make sure you have all your belongings with you. Make sure you take everything with you, right? If you have any trash that you brung, please either place it in the trash bag or take it with you, right? And like those little things I learned over the experiences of me doing this multiple times. But just overall doing that and just helped me and helped them move forward. All right. So that was the ambulance. Well, actually the fire truck. So it must be emergency. So, which brings me to this topic, the ambulance. And it's a common standard, even when you are driving your regular vehicle, when you see ambulance, when you see police car, when you see the fire truck, any emergency vehicle and they have their flashers and their lights, their siren on, you have to pull over. That's a common standard, and it's no exception when it comes to driving and operating commercial motor vehicle. You could actually get fined even more just by having your commercial driver's license, even if you are driving in your regular vehicle, your regular car or SUV. And that's because, keep it short, it's because having a commercial driver's license is like a master's degree in driving. Therefore, they automatically, having a CDL automatically puts you at a higher bracket, higher income, but also the authorities automatically hold you to a higher standard because you've gone through more extensive training. Not too extensive, but you've gone to a higher level of training and that skill to be able to drive and operate a large commercial motor vehicle that weighs over 26,001 pounds or more, and that costs between the ranges of from the lowest in the 5 digits to all the way up to the late six figures of how much the vehicle costs and how much it costs to operate this vehicle, whether it's a bus, whether it's a truck, whether it's any commercial motor vehicle. So it's important to pull over immediately and when it's safe to do so, and immediately as soon as the ambulance or emergency vehicles come in your direction. Now obviously knowing at what point. Now if it's a undivided highway, meaning that the highway is not undivided, you still would need to pull over. If it's a divided highway, meaning that the highway is divided, it's separated by a median, and the ambulance is on the other side of the highway, then you may not need to pull over if you're on the highway. But if you're on a roadway and the roadway is not divided, then that means when you're on a roadway and it's not divided, even if the ambulance is on the other side, you still need to pull over the vehicle. Now, if they're on the same side, obviously, whether you're on any highway, any major roadway, or in general, when you're on the road, if the ambulance is in your direction, in the same direction and path that you're going to, you must pull over. If the ambulance is on the other side of the direction, if it's an undivided roadway, if it's a divided roadway and a divided highway, meaning that they're separated, then ideally you'll just drive, obviously with safety, with caution, but you don't necessarily have to pull over if you're on a roadway or highway and you're on a divided highway. And if it's a divided roadway, it does depend, because let's just say you're at a traffic light or you're closer to that traffic light and the ambulance is actually approaching that. So you always want to be alert and aware and have your attention focused. Obviously not too focused to the point that you can't be able to drive and operate the vehicle, but focus and attention to be aware of, all right, here the ambulance. What direction are they coming from? Is it from north, south, east, west? Is it southeast, southwest? Is it northwest, northeast? Whatever the case is, hearing what direction the ambulance are coming from, and then being able to drive, pull over safely as possible, so you can let that ambulance or the emergency vehicle, the fire truck, the police vehicle, whatever the case is, when it's an emergency vehicle, you must pull over. It is the law, and there are consequences to that. It can affect your license, it can affect your career. I mean, having points on your license is extremely dangerous, especially that could be on your driver record and that could stay for a longer period of time, and it's not a good look. So when you see ambulance or if you see any emergency vehicle, just pull over to the side of the road. But back to the overall trip. The trip was simply great. I had my laptop with me, so I was just listening to some music. I was going ahead and watching some different types of videos, and it was just really peaceful. It was like, and the fact that I'm being compensated for that, and I'm like, I have to share this, because you can be able to do this too if you really want to. You just have that plan in mind and knowing what you really want out of life, right? Not obviously the money, the finances are important to help fulfill what you truly want and or desire and need, but it's the quality of life. What type of lifestyle do you want to have in your life? What are the things that you need to do? What are some people that you need to surround yourself with? What are some challenges that may prevent you from getting there? What are the steps, the goals, the things that's going to remind you and help you push forward, and the things that's going to help you become what you need to become, right? And really having those things in mind and just be consistent and learning to be more efficient and effective with the time that you have now. Because now for me, I've been doing other things. I haven't had too much good nights, well rested, because it's just been, everything's just been busy. But in that moment, I realized, like today, I needed to get some rest, listen to my body. So after I had some food, I rested for a couple of hours, and then I got up, and then I focused on my next objective or my next goals. And I was just thankful because the job, this allowed me to have the lifestyle of, okay, I can still do the work, still get compensated, but still have that free time, if you will, to do other things, right? I can read a book, right? I can watch some educational videos. I could do some research. I can read, study, whatever the case is. And especially back when I was in college, that was all I did. I was getting paid on the hour. I took a group to a place, dropped them off. I waited. In the meantime, I said, you need to study on this assignment. I need to go ahead, do some research. I need to go ahead and finish writing this essay or this paper. And I was doing that in college. So being efficient with your time and multitasking in the sense of while you're doing one thing, obviously while that thing is being occupied, you can do something else in the meantime, in between time. So for me, being effective and efficient with my time is, wow, okay. It trained me to say, now I'm also being compensated to whether it's relax, to have fun, or getting compensated to do another thing. So almost in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm at work. Sometimes if I'm tired, I need to get some rest. Obviously, safely park the vehicle, get some sleep. But what I'm saying is, when my mindset is on work and I'm focused on it, and I'm focusing on something else, whether it's a part-time business or whether it's helping people, whether it's doing some administrative work like emails and phone calls or whatever the case is, I feel as if, okay, that's helping move the needle forward, and I'm ultimately getting compensated twice. One, from the company, and two, from all the other things that helps move the needle forward in my life. And it's not just the income, but it's more so the quality of life, being able to become the best version of myself, being able to learn these new experiences and see how that can be able to enhance the quality of my life, and how to help and share with others how they can do that in their lives, right? And it may not necessarily have to be with driving or in the transportation and trucking industry. It could be any field, niche, any type of arena or avenue where you have that passion of doing something, right? And being compensated to do it. I mean, the compensation part is the icing on the cake. And even though we do need and have those resources to help support and pay the living expenses, right? You still have to keep in mind that jobs come and go. You will always earn money and income, but as far as time is something that you would not get it back. And what's important is the experience and who you are, who you're becoming, and how you show up in the world. That's what's really important. Have you made your impact? Have you made a difference? Have you made your contribution to the world where you are living in this life, in this day and age now, right? Not in the past, and not necessarily in the future, but we're talking about now, in this very moment. Are you living your purpose? Are you living your life? Are you living your life like this is the day that life has become today, in the sense of living your best life and just learning from the experiences that go through. And sometimes those experiences may not be maybe all butter and toast, and may not be full of roses, right? You have some days where you may not feel like it's the best day of your life, but it is. When you remember that and know that, it's a lesson in learning what are those key lessons. What are those things that I'm going through, or you're going through, and that's going to help push you through to the next level and phase of life that is required or that is expected. So when you go through those lessons and learn from them, it's preparing you to those next level phases, or the next part or phase of your life. And for me, I drive, and it's pretty much automatic, but it does mean that I'm not focused. I am focused, but it gets to the point where it's effortlessly, right? Now, you have days where it's good, days where it's quote unquote bad, or maybe the energy is not as what you thought anticipated on being, but overall, think of the quality of life. For me, I love driving, I love traveling, and I made that a goal and step out of my comfort zone when it comes to traveling. I love traveling. I love meeting new people. I love trying new things. Some of the things may be scary, but as far as driving is concerned, I love it. I love the challenge. I love where when I try to make that turn, it looks like I can't get by, but it's a chance that I can. And there's only a little small space for me to get through. I love those challenges. It doesn't happen too often because I drive in such a way that it doesn't happen, but when it does happen, I'm like, yes, okay, let's go. I love the challenge. And then it's amazing seeing how the passengers, the people, how they'll look from the passenger's point of view, and they're like, wow. And I've gotten people where some passengers would tell me, us driver, I don't know how you do this. I don't know how, I can't do that. I don't know how you're able to drive that bus around, how to whip it. Yeah, I literally had one passenger said that to me. Yeah, and just amazed of the overall skill, because it is a skill. Once you learn and develop that skill, which is through repetition, spaced repetition, consistently over a long period of time, once you have that skill, no one cannot take it from you. Like, you have it, like literally. And when I say yours, I mean like you own it, you fully embrace it, don't be ashamed of it, and you serve. You use that to help and serve other people, right? And that's what this is. And this trip's just one example of it. At first, I thought it was going to be a full day, and I got to the job around 5 a.m. It's actually almost 8 p.m. But I'm getting compensated, and on my paper it says 5 a.m. and then it's actually military time. They put 2,000 hours, which is 8 p.m. So that is about 15 hours. Out of that 15-hour day, ask me. In fact, here's the question. If I'm scheduled to work from 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. at night, and out of that time, I had 8 consecutive hours off, but I was still getting paid, still on the clock getting paid. How many hours did I actually work? That's the question. If you know the answer, put it in the group chat. Put it in the comments. Put it in there. Just put it in the comments. How about that? Just put it in the comments, okay? I said to put it in the comments. I'll say it again. I worked from 5 a.m. During that time, I had rest time of 8 hours. How many hours did I actually work? That's the real question. And I'll break it down. From 5 a.m. to 8 p.m., that is 15 hours. Out of those 15 hours, 8 of those hours had time to get some rest, to relax, and it was consecutive. But I'm still getting paid on the clock because I was still in Pennsylvania waiting for the passengers to finish their ski trip because they were going skiing. It was 8 hours. After that, picked the passengers back up and then dropped them back off to the original place where I picked them up at, which was the Kiss and Ride. So, now, by then, it should be so many comments down below on those hours. Now, let's see. Let's see if you're correct. The correct answer is, if you said 7, you are correct. Light bulb. You are correct. You are absolutely correct. 7 hours. 7 hours of driving to the pickup location, from waiting for the passengers to load, driving the passengers to their location, and then obviously picking the passengers up, dropping them back off to their place where I picked them up from in the first place, waiting for them to unload, and then driving back to the lot or the terminal. I only physically worked 7 hours, right? But I'm getting compensated for 15 hours. Come on now. So literally, I got compensated for those 8 hours. So what I'm saying is, you gotta see what's right or what works best for you. Now, obviously, it's a give or take, cons and pros to everything, right? People, or some drivers that I know that would do this, they would obviously take advantage of it, but they won't use it to its full extent. They'll just relax or maybe won't be grateful, right? But, you know, with this opportunity, you have so many things to do, so many things that you can utilize with the time that you have, and you can be able to help inspire other people and move your goals, your objectives forward, and fulfill your purpose forward. And for me, having that extra time, I'm able to do that. That's one of the main ways of effective and efficiency. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm still working, believe it or not, because there are times in the industry in general, there are times where I get little to no break, and I work almost those full 15 hours. So it actually balances out and evens it out as well. But generally speaking, when I do have those consecutive hours of rest time while still being compensated on the clock, it is absolutely worth it. And I also realize that it is amazing. It's an honor being able to be a part of this industry and being able to help other people. And it goes by, what is it that you want in life? What is it that who you are, and your determination, and those things. The more you sit down with yourself, talk about talk about yourself in terms of, all right, what is it? Why am I here? What is my purpose? What are some goals? What are some things to achieve? How can I help and serve others? And how to be able to pass that on, how to share that. And it's a process. I'm still learning, believe it or not. For example, I'm backing up in the bus lot, and I learned something new today. And just knowing what your purpose is, the more you find certain things, you realize what your purpose is not, what you don't like, right? And if you don't know, you'll find out and know. And then, yeah, whatever it is that you do, that your heart sings for, that your soul cries out, that this, wow, carefree timeless, something that you can do this for the rest of your life and it doesn't seem like you're working a day in your life. That's one of the main indicators that, all right, that's what I was here for, or that's what I'm here to do. So those are some things to keep in mind. Again, with this trip, just having that in mind, the repetition of knowing where you're going, the trip planning process, the pre-trip inspection, all of those things come in line. It is an order to that. As you get into the industry, as you surround yourself with like-minded people that actually know what they're talking about, because you're going to have drivers and operators and people that say they know what they're talking about, but the action doesn't reflect to what they're saying. And then you might have vice versa as well. And then you'll find some people that really knows what they're talking about. And then you have some people that really don't know nothing at all. But being able to discern and decipher and to filter out the negative, in a sense, but receive the things that's either positive or things that can actually help you grow and progress in life. Take some things with a grain of salt. Think of the overall future. What I'm doing right now, or what I'm listening to, or who I'm a part of, what I'm surrounding myself with. Is this going to help me get to the next level? Is that going to help me push forward? Is that going to help? And you can say this to yourself. Is this going to help me get to the next stage of life? Is the future? Is the future self, what I'm doing right now, is my future self going to thank me now? Is that what my future self going to do? Is going to thank me for what I'm doing right now? If you answer that, if your future self is going to thank you for what you're doing right now, then that's the answer you have. If your future self is not going to thank you for what you're doing right now, then you also have an answer. And it's up to you to make this decision. The overall topic, we talked about a few things, but mainly the trip that I did, take a group to skiing. Now, I didn't go skiing. I thought about it, and I could see if they gave me a discount. It most likely would have gave me a discount to do skiing. If not, it would have been an opportunity. Plus, I didn't dress for it anyway. That's an opportunity. I could have if I wanted to. Right? So you have choices, the freedom and flexibility to be able to drive and operate commercial motor vehicles. As long as you know what you're doing, driving safely, you have this freedom of control. There's no micromanaging. No one is not looking at me. Obviously, besides the cameras, some buses have cameras, but in terms of a supervisor or manager staring at me, no, I don't have that. The flexibility of that, so knowing what it is that you want to do, and just go for it. Surrounding yourself with people that know what they're talking about, and helping you have that iron sharpens iron. That system of accountability really does play a role in it as well. That's my overall topic. The ski trip, definitely it was a good experience. The people were nice, and I do have to share this quick story. So when I was driving, on my paper it didn't say Kiss a Ride, it just gave an address. In fact, let me double check just to make sure, because I make mistakes too. All right, it's Park and Ride. Is this? Oh, it does. My bad. It says, yep, the location, Park and Ride. But the thing was, I looked at the address. So I went to the address, and come to find out, I was at the right address. But the address didn't take me to the Park and Ride. The Park and Ride was like next to it. And I was there about at least 30 minutes early than the pickup time. The pickup time was 6:30. I got there about 6 a.m. And I called the person, and the lady, she was like, "Oh, you're actually wrong side. We're on the other side. If you look to your right." And it was another bus that had their four-way flashes on. Now, I was different company going to that different company was going picking up different passengers for a different trip. So, but when I saw that bus and had its four-way flashes on, I looked. I was like, "Wow!" It was that blatantly obvious. Now, I didn't see it until the sun. It was still nighttime, so it was kind of hard to really see it. But then, as the sky started to be bright, I saw it. I was like, wow, how could I miss that? Those little things. And there's room for mistakes. Obviously, to a degree, but it's how you push forward in that, how you learn from that, right? The pastor could have been upset and irate of why I didn't was at the right place at the right time. But no, she understood. In fact, she said, the only way I knew this was the right place because I've been here before. So, meaning she had the same mistake when she first was familiar or first got into the area or to that Park and Ride area. The overall process and just going through that and having patience and grace for myself. But yeah, I had to share that story with you all to say that I'm not perfect, but then also it's okay to make mistakes, obviously to a degree, and to be able to learn from those mistakes. And that's what makes us who we are, really, right? And just seeing that, and the kids, the people were really excited. It was only about maybe 15, 20 people or so, they were excited about the ski trip. And yeah, it was definitely a good trip overall, needless to say. But I'm not gonna hold y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the post-trip inspection of the vehicle, and yeah, and then I'll be off work. But yes, definitely drive safely, take your time, become the best version of yourself. And when the ambulance are nearby, or any emergency vehicle, just pull over to the side. So definitely, like, seeing the value of that. Share your honest thoughts. What are your opinions about this whole experience? What you thought about the topics? Put in the comments. Comment. Trust me, it's plenty more to come. So this is going to help you. It's going to inspire other people as well. Trust me, it's going to be so much more juicy hidden content that I'm gonna reveal. So you definitely want to subscribe, so then that way you can be able to get the instant notifications, so then you can be able to get the hidden access and gems to really what I also do and how to help you get to that next level. So you don't want to miss out. So definitely go ahead and do that. Take care, drive safely, and I'll talk to you soon, or I'll see you in the next video. BET Trainer here. Listen, if you see value in this, put it in the comments. Share your thoughts in the comments, because I guarantee you, what you have, what your thoughts, your comments, I guarantee you someone else is feeling the same way too. And not only is helping, inspire, and encouraging you, but it's also helping and inspiring and encouraging people as well to get the valuable information needed, so then they can take their dreams, your dreams, the overall everybody's dreams, goals, legacy, fruitions, businesses to the next level. And I have to commend you and thank you for being here thus far. And I strongly encourage you to pass this, share this forward. Let's have the discussion. Let's go ahead and change generations to generations. Let's build that legacy. Let's build that generational wealth to pass down to our families, generations moving forward. Let's be empowered by this. Let's have discussion. Let's talk about it. Let's implement and apply the principles needed so we all can get to a higher level place of quality of life. So take care, drive safely, and again, remember, be the best version of yourself. Take care and talk to you soon.